All right, what is going on, everybody? We are here with Wife Test 2.0. So now Stephanie is in the driver's seat. She's become much more comfortable with beta. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and turn it on. And she's going to give you your thoughts.
I'm not ready.
Why not?
Because there's a car coming.
But don't you want to see what it's going to do?
No, because it's so narrow.
So this is where Stephanie is not going to push it, at least for now, nearly as much as I will. Of course, there's no problem with that. She can take over as much as she wants. This is not a challenge to, you know, make her sit on beta and be terrified. We want to see, she's gotten pretty comfortable with it in the passenger seat. Do you want to elaborate on that at all? Or you just agree, or?
I just agree.
Okay. And so
I don't know if it's that I'm more comfortable with beta or just more comfortable with you and beta.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. In that combination, when you're in the passenger seat, there you go. Let's see if it'll make this right turn. You're pretty comfortable. So
there's no cars around, so I'm comfortable.
Okay, that's good.
Woohoo! This is maybe my first turn on beta.
Ever?
Maybe, yeah.
Awesome, man.
I'm trying to think if I've ever led it before. No, that was great.
That was great. Okay, so you, again, you're going to do most of the talking. I say that, and then I talk the whole time. But I just want to give them a little background. So you've attempted...
There's a car!
Okay, well, what do you think?
Okay, this is fine.
See,
great. Now this part of this dirt road is not nearly as narrow as that one was back there.
For sure.
And now there's a person walking a dog.
Well, like I said, if you're not comfortable, go ahead and take over. That's no problem at all. So Stephanie has tried to use beta on her own, like without me in the car when she's taken it places.
Okay, it is the worst place for this to happen. Okay, because I can't see.
That's okay.
I'm sure the car can see better than me, but like you can't see around this curve to get over to pass them.
That is perfectly reasonable, and I'm glad you pointed that out. So when it's harder for the human to see, you don't want to rely on the car. You don't want to let it, do those things because you're not used to it. It's a little bit risky.
Yeah, when there's a human being involved.
Exactly.
You're going to be careful.
Right. So this is what you're going to get with this Wife Test 2.0 for now.
That's right.
Eventually, maybe, she'll push it a little bit more, but this is really, this is really your first time, really using beta like this.
Okay, yes, but this is annoying. Like, why? So I can only go 25 because I'm on a dirt road.
Yeah, so it uses its cameras and intelligence, whatever it has, to kind of decide, all right, this road's kind of not that nice. I want to go a little slower.
Okay.
So it'll pop up a message.
I appreciate that, for this road especially.
Right. And try to keep in mind, so it kind of depends on the perspective. So if your perspective is, I drive this way, I want to keep driving this way.
Now it's not getting over, and this guy's like, what are you doing? So now I'm going to get over because he's like basically in the grass over there, like, she's not moving over. Like, I don't want to wait for beta to do that.
I agree with you. That's perfectly reasonable. There is nothing wrong with that. When you think about the things of where it's going slower than you and stuff, there's kind of two ways to think about it. One is, I don't drive this way, I don't want to drive this way. And two, if you think of it, if it's actually a robo-taxi, it's not. But if it was, you wouldn't really care, right? If it was going a little slower.
Right, no.
But since you're in control, you're like, this is stupid. Right. All right, this is a big left turn.
I'm really terrified to do this. Okay, and it's already like, oops, I already disengaged.
That's okay.
Because it's...
Tap the brake and just turn it back on.
Well, I'm gonna...
That's why I told you to tap the brake.
Oh, because it was doing cruise control.
Yep. Because you took over steering and not the other.
Yep, whoops.
So it's not on.
Right, I don't want it to be on. Okay, it can be on.
So it's creeping.
But there's a motorcycle
That's okay,
coming.
that's fine.
I don't want to scare the motorcyclist.
I agree with you. Okay. I 100% agree. You are correct.
I'm like out.
You are not even near you're getting close to the white line, but your positioning is fine. See, nobody's see how they're not moving over for you?
I just got to do it because I'm too nervous. There's too many cars.
That's okay, that's fine. That's the point of this test. So there you go. I totally agree. The creep, especially, even for me still, I am used to beta. Go ahead, you're good. I am totally used to beta, but the creep sometimes is too much for me. It moves out too far. I just don't trust it. And if you were standing across the street or from the air looking down, it may be pretty obvious, or when you watch the video after the fact and you're not sitting in here, it may be pretty obvious that you still have enough room, but sitting in the driver's seat in the moment, cars are coming at you at 60 miles per hour, or motorcycles, which is even more dangerous. It's going to try to turn here, remember. We want to take a different route. It's difficult to allow the car to do those things. It's kind of nerve-wracking. Now, it doesn't mean the car did anything wrong. It doesn't mean it was going to do something wrong. But when you're new, like Stephanie is, it can be too much.
Well, and here's the thing. I'm thinking about the other drivers around me, because when I'm driving, that's like, maybe you guys agree, when you see that there's traffic waiting to like cross in front of you or turn in front of you,
you're ready.
You're like, when you see that somebody's creeping forward like that, that's like a signal to you, like, oh, maybe they're gonna pull out in front of me, maybe they don't see me. That's like your defensive driving kicking in. And so you immediately like slow down a little bit, or because you're like, oh, maybe they're about to just pull right out when you see a car moving forward like that.
Right.
So I know the car isn't going to do that, but they don't know that. And I don't want to give them that impression and scare them like, this car is going to just pull right out in front of me.
Yeah, for sure. No, I 100% agree with all of that, because
sorry to cut you off, but you're not supposed to be talking.
It's your video. Go ahead.
If we're talking about all cars are using beta, then you don't have that worry at all. If all cars are robo-taxis, none of that matters, because you're not even paying attention to that. You don't have defensive driving kicking in. But right now, when I'm probably the only car that's driving itself within like a 40-mile radius of us right now. Like, let's be real. So nobody else is used to it there. That's all.
No, yeah, I totally agree. You're 100% right. And none of that would matter, but there's kind of this divide of like, of the side of like, Tesla's making a robo-taxi and it's gonna be amazing and be level 4 and you can sleep on your way to work and it's gonna take over the world. And like, sure, if that happens, that's cool. But that's not where we are right now. It's not where we are today. When people spend money on this product, they want to use it and they don't want to have to think about everything you're thinking about. They're like, well, I might as well just drive. Like, I don't want to, at this intersection, is it going to do it right? Is it going to do it wrong? Is it going to creep too much? Not enough? You know, all those things. So when I make videos and I'm pushing it, I mean, I push it way farther for making videos, obviously, than when I'm just driving by myself with nothing recording. So the way you're driving, I mean, I let it go a little more than you do, of course, but the way you're driving is more similar to like what I would be doing when I'm not recording a video. And I've shown that in videos in the past. Maybe I should do another updated one, kind of like how I actually use beta versus like what it's capable of. So what are you thinking now on this? We don't have any turns, like it's curving around here.
I'm slowing it down because I know how sharp those curves are and I don't want to be like...
So you didn't trust that it would slow itself down enough?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine.
I guess I should have let it push it, but there were other cars coming, so I have let it try on the way to the gym. I have let it try, and it disappoints me.
In the curves, you're saying?
Yeah, because it like suddenly realizes, oh, this curve is too tight. I have to hit the brake, and it like is much more abrupt.
Right.
And I don't like that feeling. So.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, I just lower the speed, and
that's fine.
Then it's good.
So how is this like stopping for the stop sign?
This is great. I'm.
You didn't feel the need to take over?
Nope.
Okay.
Now, right now, this is where I'm starting to get a little anxious. This is okay. There's nobody around, so this was great for me. There's nobody around.
Yeah, I agree. That was awesome. Sometimes it'll like, even with no one around, it'll stop again.
Yeah.
And you're like, just go. But I mean, from the passenger seat, that was actually perfect.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself for allowing that one.
Very good. Yeah, in the past you've tried it, and like no matter what, even you can see clear as day, there's nobody there, you still hit the brake.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame you, because it's kind of freaky, you know?
Yeah.
And then you might want to adjust your speed again. Yep, because once you set it, the car will try to stick with that for a while, just so you know.
Yeah, the acceleration was pretty good too. I was paying attention to that. Like, because before we've had issues where it would accelerate a little slowly, and it was like, come on, like there could be people behind you, which luckily for us right now there's not, but it went up pretty good.
Yeah.
Like the same as pretty much I would, although sometimes I do engage the Tesla power.
Yeah, I actually still have a problem with that on certain roads. So on like Fenton Road, when we leave our house that way, the car will turn left, and it usually does pretty good, but then it take like a minute to get up to speed. I'm not even, like a full minute. And on that road, cars are going 60. I mean, I have been passed on, it's a road just like this, so you can pass like legally sometimes. I've been going 65 and people have passed me on that road.
And like this blinking yellow light makes me nervous because like I see it's like braking a little bit. It's like, okay, is this just you like checking off all the boxes? Like, oh, yellow light, gotta be cautious. All right, I was cautious, let's keep going.
Right,
That's what it felt like. It was like, it's gotta go through the motions just to be legal or something. Yeah,
so for blinking yellows, it mostly just gets temporarily confused. It doesn't know if it's a solid yellow or a blinking. So it basically was like, oh, is this turning red? Oh no, it's blinking. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like that enough that I'm gonna like spill my drink everywhere jerky, but
yeah. All right, this is great so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Okay. I assume just in case I don't cut anything, I assume I'm just going to cut around, explaining to people why I'm listening, like casually looking at my phone. Yeah, because I don't know if we need to sit through all these things, but now this one's pretty awful.
Uh-oh.
Not dangerous, just really dumb.
Because there's 2 lines?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a 3-way stop.
I'm pretty sure that the second one is for the train track. Like, it's like a warning that, like, because the stop sign, which is amazing because it's completely hidden by that tree branch, and it's still... Oh, this is going to be so bad.
Well, they get to go first.
Go. Thank
Okay.
you.
Now let's see what the car does.
Go. Look at this! Oh.
Yeah, huh?
All right, I'm hitting the accelerator, and I touched the wheel because it kept wiggling.
Uh-huh. So there you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Come on, car.
Yep. You sound just like me in my videos. You're like, yes, this is great. And then it like hits the brake.
Why? Why would it do that?
Honestly, for that intersection, my only guess is the double solid line. But like, it's our right of way to go. It's time to go.
It was already like past that line, wasn't it?
I don't know, but it happens almost every time. That same thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It happens at the one on the way home from the gym too. Remember the 4-way at Hickory Ridge?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that one's pretty hard though. Like in terms of like the way the lines are painted, you have to make a like super wide left turn, like so wide, like literally no person would ever do it.
Yeah, you always cut off the lane.
100%.
It's like the car is like, oh, I give up. Too wide for me.
Right.
This is like.
Well, and it's also kind of uphill, so it's hard to even see the paint.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is super simple intersection. I don't know why every time it screws it up like that.
Oh, good. It changed for me. I forgot that. Because I'm used to the other autopilot, just like the standard, where you have to, I mean, it changes the speed for you, but not, I was expecting that I was going to have to adjust it more, but it does it.
But it did a good job.
It did good, yeah.
I don't know. We're about to find out. What was that?
Just like, it's because I have it set to 29.
Yep.
It just felt really fast.
Okay. Yeah,
in an
make
area
sure.
with a lot of pedestrians, so.
Yep. Make sure you keep commenting on those things.
Well, and that was my fault because I had it set higher. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
All right, we're going to stop here and be awkward when we're turning the wheel away to the left, which is weird. All right, there's nobody there, so let's go. All right, we did it.
And
High five. I did it.
Me or the car?
You.
Okay. High five the car. It's like
I'm high-fiving myself because I did it. I didn't grab the wheel.
Yeah. And can you elaborate? Did it feel good? Was it
felt
too
good.
slow?
Now, I never stop right at that line like it does. I always stop a little far forward because you can't see anything.
Yeah, there's no point.
But
in
I know
stopping
that it's just like following things by the book. So that was the only thing that I would have done differently, but it was fine.
Sweet. Yeah, I thought that felt really good as well. So, again, do you think this beta as of today is like better, more impressive, a little more comfortable than what you remember from, especially like a long time ago?
Yes. Because there were times, the few times that I took the wheel and attempted, it was jumping out. It seemed like it was a little more aggressive with like jumping out. Was it? Or am I getting that mixed up? Was it the opposite?
It's your brain. I don't know. It's whatever you remember it being. It really goes both ways. Sometimes it'll stop and then kind of go, and you're like, what the heck, let's go. And then other times it does the exact opposite where it stops and then it starts to creep and just takes off. And sometimes one of those is appropriate and the other isn't, and vice versa.
Okay, that's probably all I'm remembering. It's just
that it was doing weird things.
Yeah, creeping and like start, stop, that
right.
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, what I remember the most is all the phantom braking. Like that drove me insane when you were driving. That
was so bad.
Those were the times when I would be like, can you please just turn off autopilot and just drive on your own? Because I would be trying to like drink my water and it would be like...
Yeah, that was before 10.69, for those of you who have been following a long time. It, like on this road, I mean, every minute or 30 seconds even, you get a little like, it was constant. And now, like, I don't think we've had that one time yet.
I noticed it a tiny bit on Hickory Ridge, but it was very subtle. But there was like nothing I could see that would make it drop, and it dropped like 2 miles per hour and then went back up for no apparent reason.
Okay.
And I experienced that a lot on 59 today, phantom braking.
Oh, really? Okay.
It over and over again. And because at first I thought, oh, we just passed the speed limit sign. Maybe it's just like lowering down to that. But then there were no more speed limit signs, and it just kept going up and down, up and down.
Okay. And feel free to adjust the speed however you want. I don't care. You don't have to follow the rules or whatever.
Follow the rules.
Well, I always leave it at the speed limit because I don't want to change the speed limit and then be like, oh, the car did it wrong. Because it's like, well, I interfered with it, right? Yeah. This is more just to kind of see how comfortable you are with it, etc. From like a more of an end user perspective rather than like a capabilities of the system perspective.
Right. We got another blinking yellow.
All right.
Coming soon.
Well, the advantage here is we're going slower than we were for the last one. And that's huge. So I find Beta is much more, I feel it slowing down.
Yeah, it passed another speed limit sign, it must have, because it just changed to 40. That is annoying. that
Don't follow the law.
And now it's slowing way down for this light. And the people behind me, well, they don't seem to care, so that's good.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So wait, did you hit the accelerator?
Nope.
Okay, so it fixed itself.
Nope, it fixed it. And it wasn't super abrupt. It slowed down just gently. So that I'm fine with that.
That matters, yeah.
And that's not going to affect the person behind me as much because it's not a sudden, like...
Right.
But that is a thing I'm working on in every aspect of my life, is being overly conscientious of others around me. Like, caring way too much about what the people around me are thinking and doing instead of just focusing on what I'm doing. So that's a big issue with me, even in this situation. Like, looking at the person behind me, like, okay, what do they think? And
yeah, but see, in my opinion, that really matters. And I actually, it doesn't see the speed limit end signs.
Yeah.
So I get that comment so much where people are like, oh, just let it do its thing. Don't worry about the people around you. And it's like, that's so important to be intentional, be predictable when you're driving. You can't just like randomly hit the brake or swerve all over the place or turn on turn signals when people are around you, because you're going to confuse them, you're going to make them mad, you may make them crash, even if it's not into you. I mean, I think that's really important. Again, I get the comments a lot where it's like, oh, don't worry about them. But it's important.
You have to. Like, that's one of the main rules of the road, is like that you're sharing it with other people. Like, you have to be aware of your surroundings, and like, you don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't want yourself to get hurt. That's why we have things like turn signals and brake lights, and to signal to people around you what you're about to do. And if Beta is like going crazy and hitting those signals but not actually following through with it, it's really confusing.
Right.
But I mean, for myself, even just the little tiny things that like the person behind me probably doesn't even notice at all. Like the little things, like the speed adjust, or
I feel like people do notice all of those things. I do when I'm behind people. Okay. I mean, any small changes in the way the car is moving kind of puts me on alert of like, is this guy paying attention? Are they not from around here? Are they lost? Are they drunk? Like, you see people that kind of touch the white line, and they'll do that a couple, you're like, oh, they're texting. It's not that big of a deal, but just those few inches or maybe a foot that they move their car, it changes the way you think about that car for the rest of the drive. So, no, I think all of those even small things are really important.
Okay. Well, then never mind. I take it back. I still would not actively choose to just put Beta on. Like, oh, I'm
forcing you.
I'm going to the grocery store. Let Beta take me there. No.
Yep.
Because it is still, for me, more stressful than just driving myself. And I do like to use just, like, in the X, that standard autopilot. I have okay, here we go. It's like, I don't have any issues with that because I feel like I have way more control over it.
Well, no more X anymore.
I know.
We're on our way to Tesla to pick up the new Model Y. So I don't know when all these videos are coming out, but that's what we're doing right now.
Well, I'm going to have standard autopilot in that one for a while, too, because it's hardware 4.
Right.
And that one, it's just so predictable and way less advanced that I'm more comfortable with it. But, all right, let's go. It still thinks the speed limit is 45. Oh, you were telling me that it does that.
Yep,
right
that's a big problem it has. But you do whatever you need to do to be comfortable. There's the turn signal.
Yep.
Wow, that was really good, actually. What did you think?
That was great.
Wow, okay. Yeah, I thought that was actually like
The
perfect.
45 thing annoyed me a little. I was like, why aren't we accelerating? But then once I
Yes.
saw why.
Yeah, but it's still wrong. So.
Right. But once we flipped it from 45 to 70, it accelerated so smoothly to get, like, we were all of a sudden, boom, at 70. Like,
Okay.
and it didn't feel aggressive at all. It was great.
Awesome.
I'm proud of myself.
You're doing amazing.
I can't believe this.
I know. This is by far the most you've ever used it.
Now, if I'm on the highway for a while, like, what is it going to do here? 45, 60, 45, 60.
Yep.
It's going to do 65. Okay.
Yep. So right here, this is the new ability, maintaining speed for traffic flow. So it sees that the speed limit is 45, whatever. But it sees the cars around us are going much faster. So it's not going to drop that much. And now it's going down to 45.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
It's very cool. And it's one I struggle with because, you know what? The speed limit right now is 45.
Yeah.
Or 60. But nobody goes that speed. So I honestly do not blame the car one bit for wanting to go either of those speeds. And like, it doesn't know if workers are present or not. So it's just one of those kind of difficult situations that the car does have to master eventually if it wants to be, wants to let me not pay attention. But for now, I just adjust the speed all over on the highway. Wow, look at that. Good job.
Why is it changing lanes?
So it wants to stay out of the rightmost lane.
But there's cones and things up here, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, we're also passing these people.
Okay, I don't like it.
It was too close?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, the likelihood of it going off and hitting a cone I know is slim, but I don't like it.
You don't need to justify it. You're fine.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you can tell us why you're doing that.
That's what I'm trying to do. Is it just feels weird.
So then something we can do, which we'll do just for the highway, is, I know, you can turn on this minimal lane changes ability. So now just use turn signal to move back. So now it shouldn't do that for you. Do it again. You got to do it all the way for a lane change.
Now I know.
Yep. So the minimal lane changes now. It will not change lanes to pass or to stay out of rightmost lane, which I do not like that message, but whatever. It will only change to follow route.
Okay.
Because obviously it has to, but sometimes it's wrong. And it thinks it needs to change lanes to follow route when it does not, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss.
Yeah, exactly. So like as of now, if you want to pass these guys, you'd have to do it manually because it's not going to pass anymore.
Right, but we're getting off in a mile and we're not in a hurry, so I'm just going to chill here because I don't care.
All right, sounds good.
But yeah, if I was like driving to work or something, I would be passing them. So what is it? What did we put on the X when we went to Florida and it stayed in autopilot while I did the lane changes?
Yeah, that's called Navigate on Autopilot.
Okay.
So that's like full self-driving, but if you don't have access to beta.
That I loved.
Right.
I could not imagine a road trip without that. I mean,
Just the lane changes.
Well, okay, because we went to Tennessee and we didn't have that.
Yep.
So anytime I had to change a lane, I had to get out of autopilot, change the lane, then go back into autopilot. And it honestly got confusing after, 200 or 300 miles where it's like, wait, am I in autopilot or just cruise control? And then I'd start like drifting in the lane, like, oh, autopilot's not on, whoops.
Sure.
But on the way to Florida, just being able to just hit the blinker and staying in autopilot, that was the best.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what I was saying about the Ford, the Blue Cruise, is I was getting confused onto like exactly what it was doing. So it's interesting to hear that I didn't realize that was happening with autopilot with you.
At least it makes a noise, but I would just...
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what it does if it was still confusing you.
Yeah, well, I think too is just because we were on the road for so long.
Sure.
If it's a shorter trip, I don't know, because you get like this tunnel vision where you're like on the road and...
All right, get ready.
All right. What am I getting ready for?
Well, because you're going to exit. I don't want you to get caught off guard. Sometimes it just takes a little wide. No, that was good. Well, you be the judge.
I thought it was fine.
Okay. And then it's going to turn right up here. So we're just about there. So, I don't know. Why don't you start giving like your kind of wrap up on what you think?
And honestly, it went so much better than I thought it would. Now this, like, I gotta, because if people want to go by on the left, and that's not autopilot's fault, or beta's fault, I should say, because it's got to stay, it's not going to go off onto the line.
Right, exactly.
I would not want it to on its own. this went way better than I thought. The creeping out at the stop signs makes me a little nervous.
For sure.
So far, did we go through any traffic lights?
Yeah.
Did we?
No.
No.
We're about to. All right. Do you want to turn it back on now?
Yeah, I guess. It's just
Do
the
it.
guy.
Do it.
I know he's far off, but...
Yep, that's fine. It sees him on there. Wow, he's laying on the ground and it's still displaying him. Oh no, now he's gone. That's scary.
Yeah. I'm not at a point where I would choose to put on full self-driving while... Sorry, can't think.
It's okay. You're
this
good.
is good. This is good. Let's just follow through. That was good. That was very human-like.
I agree.
It's still too stressful for me to just want to use it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But for experiments like this, it's fine. For if I'm not making any turns, like I want to handle the turns. Beta can do all like keep me in my lane, help me with my speed, but that's all I want it to do.
Okay, so you want basic autopilot, basically.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That's where I'm at. See ya.
And how was that turn?
That was great.
Yeah. And this left turn, let's check it out. But
it's like I'm home.
Yeah. Overall, yeah, I felt like it was a pretty decent drive, but you did get to see some of the common problems that it has. So, I mean, overall, really not too bad. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, and we will keep up these experiments. Yeah, probably take over. It's basically just going to the pin on the map. So we'll keep up these experiments, even if this is not something for today Stephanie's going to use like daily in her life. You never know. If we keep trying, maybe there'll come a point where you go, you know what? I want to use it all the time. Because it does get better as you get used to it. So, anything else you want to say?
I was pretty impressed, honestly.
Awesome.
Anything that like stopped me from like that made me want to take over was stuff just from me being nervous, like
right from not being used to it.
Yeah, from not being used to it.
So maybe if you use it more, then maybe that'll go away.
Maybe I'll turn into you. Wife of Dirty Tesla YouTube channel.
Dirty Wife channel. Wait, no. All right. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have questions, leave them down below. You will see us in the next video.